Why is a no-deal Brexit even a conversation? Since becoming our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson has vowed to take the UK out of the EU by the 31st of October with or without a deal, and clearly this has caused some stir. Our very own Jeremy Corbyn has vowed to storm Buckingham Palace, race past the guards, look the Queen dead in the eye and, do something because he's so upset about it. But look, in reality, here are three reasons why a no-deal Brexit shouldn't even be a conversation. Firstly, it's completely disingenuous and against our democracy to try and keep the UK in the EU in the case of a no-deal Brexit. We voted to leave the EU. Everyone in the UK is familiar with what EU membership entails. We were given two choices, to stay or to leave. And to stay in the EU until the Ramonas can finally get a deal that they're happy with is completely ridiculous. We are leaving the EU. Get over it. Secondly, it's insulting to the people that chose to leave the EU. Now I know the political left likes to call everyone retarded and homophobic and racist and xenophobic and any other name in the book, but the reality is, people on the left like Jeremy Corbyn are not our guardians of the galaxy. They don't get to choose things for us. This is the nature of a democracy. And the political left is always talking about the joys of EU membership and freedom of movement, yet they seem to conveniently forget that firstly, 60% of Labour voters actually voted to leave the EU, and secondly, industries in the north and coast of this country have been completely destroyed by the unfettered competition in the EU. So why don't you save us your self-righteous moaning and save it for people that are not living in the Twilight Zone? And finally, this is for all the spoilt brats like Femi and his middle-class friends who want to stay in the EU so they can have the convenience of jet-setting around Europe without thinking of the cost to local Brits. Newsflash, the world doesn't revolve around you. Britain has the right to choose her future and her destiny. And if you're so miserable about losing your European citizenship, which is not a thing because Europe isn't a country, why don't you give up that nice shiny passport and move to Europe? Problem solved. And here's some food for thought. If Britain wanted to stay in the EU and negotiate, we would have voted to remain. But we didn't. We chose to have control over our borders and our country and our destiny. So we're leaving the EU.